Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. A very another merry, stupid o'clock in the morning to one and all. It is 3:49 a.m. in the morning, which is a little bit later than usual for us, but also, nobody should be awake at this hour. Why do I do this to myself? Because I'm insane. That being neither here nor there, welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels. And as always, at Stupid O'Clock, folks, we're going back to that horrific world known as the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center Incorporated in Canton, Massachusetts. Before we get going this morning, we're going to do a few disclaimers real quick. First of all, for this particular blog post, which has taken us far more considerable time than I thought it was going to, you are going to be able to find that in the description box, as well as other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign. Most importantly, the templates. I'm not going to keep repeating myself, guys. Fill out your name, click on your senator. You're not 5. You know what to do. Also, you're all going to find the change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition, because facts are facts. These folks have somehow managed to skimp their way along and dodge every consequence to be thrown in their general direction due to the horrific sort of standards that they use in order to treat disabled people. They've been getting away with it since 1986. So sign the petition, get it shared. Speaking of, when we are talking about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of, as well as sometimes see, clips from video surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones. Now, even though I seem to be better this morning at stringing a sentence together without mingling it horribly, you never know. It is stupid o'clock. It's also my Friday, so gotta love call center hours, right? So, if I mangle any sentences horribly or words, my apologies here in advance. Alright, so let's get to it, folks. Back to the story of Kana Kosakaya. This is part of her interview that was done through Messenger with Dave here. So let's go ahead and get back into it. We stopped yesterday where it said everyone told her to go. So let's get to it. Dave, can you talk about how you reached your decision in the beginning to go? Anna, my home instruction teacher said I should go, and a friend, my psychologist and psychiatrist I was seeing at the current time, both said I should go. One even said, I promise you'll love it there. If you don't, you can just come back home. Either that doctor is extremely naive, their pockets are getting lined by the school, or they are out and out just lying. What the hell? What the hell? Wow. You see, this is the sort of railroading us autistics and people with disabilities get every day. And they use some of the most, infantilizing terms. Don't you want friends? Don't you want to have fun? Now, maybe it's just me and my point of view. I was basically born going on 40, pretty sure. But I would have probably looked at that recruiter and been like, do I look like an infant to you? Do I look like I'm getting ready to enter kindergarten? I always was a sarcastic little shit. But moving on. Dave, did anyone give you a different opinion? Anna, my mom told my grandmother in the beginning that she knew about this school and it wasn't good. My grandmother told my mom she didn't know what was best for me if she didn't want me to go to such a beautiful school. Wow. First off, if you are a parent and you let the grandparent dictate to you how you raise your child, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong there. It's one thing to, you know, treat your parents with respect, but when it comes to your child, the buck stops there. Okay? You make the decisions. You don't let your parents decide for you what is best for your child. That is your job. Okay? And it is your responsibility to make sure that your child is in a safe learning environment that is conducive to getting a proper education. Not your parents' job. Putting it out there. Dave, are you over 18? Anna, yeah, I just turned 28. Dave, did anyone give you an opinion at the time that you should not go? Exactly. All the time, folks, no matter how old we are. I mean, my God, in less than a decade, I'm going to be, well, I'm not going to mention how old I am. Let's just say I look a hell of a lot younger than I actually am. But yeah, a lot of people will, if you are, let me give you an example. When I'm in a doctor's appointment, if I decide to bring my mom along with me, because hey, she's in town and I have a doctor's appointment and she wants to go out to lunch, and I just go ahead and decide to drag her in there because it's a particular doctor who, for whatever reason, thinks that I don't understand anything they're saying to me. They will literally, to this day, talk to her about me as though I'm not even there. Teachers in college have done it. It's something disabled people put up with all the damn time until you get enough like me and you just start calling everybody out on it. While mom smirks like a hyena. Anyways, moving on. This is something, a little tad bit, a little slice of our lives we get to put up with. Okay. Everyone wanted me to go, Anna says. Did you ever want to get away from your parents? Anna, yeah. The home instruction teacher also said it was nice when I told her I won't go. She said, it's so pretty and there's lots of land there. I think my parents wanted to get rid of me. How else was she supposed to feel? And really, it's so pretty? Okay, maybe if your thing is pastels and absolute childlike decoration, sure, okay, fine, it's pretty. To me, it's my own personal center of sensory hell and infiltration, but okay, whatever. What are we supposed to think when we get sent to a school like that? And then hear the school praised by said parents while we're getting tortured. I mean, these kids don't always necessarily know that their parents know what's going on. As far as we know, they signed off. The courts did. But moving on. Dave, so you told your teacher at one point you didn't want to go. Anna, she said, How can you not want to go? She also said that Massachusetts is a very nice state. Oh my god. Okay, so my family, my dad's side of the family, they come from Massachusetts. We're descended from the Winthrops who founded Boston. And it is a beautiful state, especially out in East Longmeadow. And some of the houses that they have date pre-revolutionary period, and the state goes to great expense to keep them pristine and make sure that if you would like to have a tour of some of those places, that they still have all the same fixings on the inside. It is really beautiful. But something being aesthetically beautiful, as great as that all is, should not be the reason to send your child there to a place where you are not having any supervision over what's going on with them behind closed doors. Especially after the Andre McCollins incident. If you're sending your kid to this school after the Andre McCollins event and you are still defending them, then you are a shit human being. I'm just gonna say it. Moving on. You had a father then too? Where did he live? Anna. Yes, I did. However, he didn't live with me. He was residing in California at that time. My father also told me at one point I should try it out. He said maybe I'll make friends there. So a lot of people told me I should go. What we all know from the JRC as of right now was when they said she'll make friends, that was an out and out lie. They don't exactly encourage friendships. Friendships are for humans, right, JRC? Coming down, trying to behave, trying to be as little ranty as possible. I have to save my voice. JRC was also calling my house asking my parents when I will finally arrive. They explained that I had to get some dental work done, and then I will come there. And the day came when I finally left for the JRC. The first day at school. Dave, what happened that day? Some guy drove to our house in a car and waited downstairs for me and my mom. They told me it was time to go. I told them maybe I should just stay. They told me it was too late. Oh no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. If we decide to back out, you've got no legal grounds. How the hell are they getting away with this? The car's downstairs. They are waiting for you. Who are you, the fucking warden? Turns out he was not affiliated with JRC. Oh, wow. He was just someone who picked students up to take to JRC. So I went down there with my mom to the car, and I looked at my building one last time before the car drove away. In the middle of the ride, the driver stopped at a McDonald's and asked me if I was interested in buying any food. I said yes. My mom took me in, and we bought food, and he continued driving. Then he stopped after a very long ride and said, "Well, you guys are here." Then my mom walks into the JRC building with me. I walk in and see pictures on the walls. I saw a piano, and before I know it, Z, my then case manager, shows up and leads us to a different conference room. This time it had brown chairs and a brown table. He introduced himself to me and my mom, sat us down at the table, then started to tell us about my stay at JRC. He asked my mom for the names of people to put on my phone call approval list. 28 years old. God. At JRC, they had a rule that clients can only make and receive phone calls from people on their approval list. 28 years old. And you're going to tell her who she's allowed to talk to. The level of control they have over these kids. God. Dave, What was his tone of voice? And it was fine. It was a brief talk. He just wanted to know who my mom was going to approve for my phone call approval list. And then he read a paper that was lying down on his table. Dave, at this point, you could not say who you wanted to speak with on the phone, or could you? He was asking my mom for some reason, not me, but my mom. See that there? That's what I'm talking about. It happens to us all the time. People wanting to talk to our parents, our sibling, or whoever our carer happens to be, not us. Now, I don't have either parents or carer or any of that stuff. I do quite fine on my own. But every once in a while, like I said, mom gets dragged because she wants to go have lunch and I might have an appointment on the same day. And they will immediately, as soon as I ask for my appointment, because mom doesn't want to wait out in the car, will look to my mom instead of me. It happens every time. Moving on. Dave, I see. That doesn't help you keep your friends outside JRC. Anna, like he was letting her make those decisions, like who I cannot and cannot speak with on the phone during my stay at JRC. While she was 28. Oh no, you were 17? Still 17. Yeah. I just turned. Z asked my mom instead of me who she was approving. She approved, names deleted, okay. My grandparents and the home instruction teacher. And then he wrote it all down on my recording sheet. All JRC students had a recording sheet. Dave, did you have other friends at the time? Anna, no. We didn't. Why didn't the case manager ask me who I wanted on my approval list? Why did he ask her instead? Because they like to talk over us and about what's best for us without including us. They like to treat us as non-entities, folks. God, I hate people. Dave, great question. I'm interested in learning how they treat the idea of client consent and dissent. Anna, he was also reading me my rights while I was residing there at JRC. Next thing he did was read a paper that was on his table by his side. It was a paper explaining my rights. He read it and then brought it over to me to sign. He told me to sign my full name. Did you read it? I didn't get a chance to. Oh, just sign it. Just sign it. Everything's fine. Oh, no bullshit. I'd be like, Nope. I'm going to read it, as is my legal right under the ADA. Sorry, not sorry. Anna, no, I didn't get a chance to. I just read a little bit. He said I didn't need to read the whole thing because he already read it to me. Yeah, I'm just going to trust your word for that? Nope. I'm sorry, folks. Yes, even at 17, I was more than a little jaded. Dave, were you considered a special education student from back home? Anna, yes. I was in many different schools before JRC. Dave, did he tell you or ask you to sign it? Anna, he asked me to sign it. I signed it. Dave, okay, did you understand the rights? Anna, yeah. Then he asked me if I was ready to go to my new classroom at JRC. I said, yeah. He told me to say goodbye to my mom. I asked why. He said, because she was leaving. So I said goodbye. Then my mom and I leave the room. My mom said bye, Anna, and left. I was taken to a separate way away from my mom, who's leaving the building to go back home on the same transportation that the guy drove us on. Dave, this part now makes me feel sad. Anna, yeah, that was the last time I was going to see my mom for a while. Dave, did you love each other? Anna, it was like she abandoned me there and went back home and got on with her life. My mom loved me, but I think she was disappointed in me because my behavior wasn't pretty at home. I think that's why she gave me away. Dave, I see. Did you love her? Anna, yeah, I did. And now I realize I treated her pretty bad at times and she didn't deserve it. Dave, your behavior at home was not your fault either. I can tell you why later. Anna, so why was I punished for it? I was sent to JRC. My freedom was taken away. I was not able to see my friends from New York while my mom just left me there and went home and continued with her life. Imagine that. Imagine what that must feel like. You're left there to be tortured and brutalized by these evil bastards. And these folks that just drop you there continue on with their lives. When they show up, they're all smiles, thinking, "This school is good for you. It's good for you." Imagine how horrifying that is to hear when you are going through that. Yeah. Dave, I write a blog. In the introduction, in the first paragraph, I state a mission to help make the world less punitive place. There are better ways to manage behavior, and punishment is not necessary to do it. That is why my research into ABA has found pretty much what everyone with a logical, coherent brain has found. But I digress here. Anna, she was not the one locked up. She was free, home, doing whatever she felt like, while I was suffering at JRC. Dave, it's okay to be angry at your mother and still love her. Anna, how could she have sent me there? Dave, I don't know. It was not your fault. It may have not been her fault either. This is why I tell you, parents, don't ever trust anything blindly. I don't care how appealing and pretty it looks to you. Question everything in regards to the treatment of your child. Story end of. You have to. If this story teaches you nothing else, learn that. You can't distrust these fuckers blindly. Then it was wrong what she did. Anna, she didn't care whether the facility was good or bad. Dave, it's also okay if you do blame her. You do not need to agree with my philosophy. Anna, but she did call me frequently to see how I was doing. She did visit me frequently and took me for home visits. I remember on most of the home visits, I gave her hell when it was time to return to the JRC. I fucking would. But my mom's not an idiot, and if she saw anything off, my mom's very perceptive when it comes to me. If I had come to that school and she was taking me home, she would just have to look at my face and she'd be like, "Okay, what's going on?" Do you want to continue with the first day? Anna, yeah. The first day sucked. I was taken a separate way away from my mom, and then Wyatt awaited me. Wyatt said, "Hello, Anna. We've been waiting for you." And then she took me to the big reward store. I asked her why we were going there. She said, "A PC party to welcome me to JRC." Dave, so they were truly trying to help you make friends then? And I think so. Or maybe they just wanted to give me a pizza party like they do with most clients on their first day. When we arrived at the big reward store and asked me if I wanted anything to drink, I said yeah, and she asked me what I wanted. I said Powerade, and she said they were out of it and asked me if I wanted something else. Then she gave me a fake dollar, inserted it into the drink machine they had in the reward store, and out came a cranberry grape juice. Your first token. You were rewarded for entering JRC. Anna, and then she interrupted the other clients who were playing games on the machines in the reward store. She goes like, "Guys, this is Anna. She's new. This is her first day, so we're going to have a pizza party." Dave, your presence was paired with pizza by your peers. Anna, they had the pizza already ready because they were expecting me that day. But the pizza slice was very small, although I got one or two. Dave, you were not fully satiated by the end of the party? Anna, no. I got two tiny slices and a Minute Maid grape juice from the machine in the reward store. That was the welcome party they gave me. Then why said I could stay in the big reward store and play the games on the machines. Dave, other clients also had pizza and a drink? Yeah. Dave, also two tiny slices for them? Yeah. It was a large pie and it was shared by everyone in the room. Dave, when was the next time you ate? Anna, I didn't eat until dinner time. Dave, let me take you off the timeline, please. All right, folks, I'm actually going to continue this, but give me just a second, all right? Sorry about that. So back to where we were. JRC behavior control methods. Dave, was dinner offered contingent upon doing or not doing any particular behavior? Anna, no, I was not on that program, but I knew some clients were. They had nutritionists come in from time to time, changing the menus and taking stuff out. Dave, that's what they say on the website. They are healthy eating conscious. Anna, yes, I know. They were teaching all of the clients to eat healthy. They even showed us eating videos on what can happen if you eat too much fast food. And they minimized eating meat from 1 to 2 times a week. And other times we had to eat vegan food. And they had a salad bar. In addition to shock they gave her, Jennifer Masumba reported starvation-style JRC behavior control, delayed or limited food intake, which would make a food more powerful positive reinforcer. It's disgusting that earn your food. Earn your food. Earn the right to eat. God. I know on a small scale that's kind of what we do with our day-to-day jobs. We earn money so we can eat. Yeah, I got it. But just think about that. You have to earn each bite you eat that day. Yeah. Anna tells a story of a girl she saw crying the next day after her pizza party. Was crying allowed to happen freely? Yeah, some clients were pinpointed when they were crying. If someone cried, a staff would pinpoint a behavior and mark it on their sheets. They would say the person's name and then say, "There's no crying without appropriate stimulus." Jesus. And mark it down on the client's sheets as a behavior. And whatever consequence was, whether it was point reduction, etc., and whether it broke their multi-day or less than a day. We had multi-days and less than a days. These are contracts where we earn rewards for good behavior. Good behavior being compliance, by the way, folks. Remember that. Compliance, obedience. It's freaking disgusting. I got your comply right here. Please explain point reduction. Anna, and we had point systems. Almost every client was on a point sheet, which means they had to earn these things by points. Points to spend? Anna, yes. In the store at JRC? In everything's. In everything. God. So points were added and subtracted? Anna, yes. If you didn't have enough points, you couldn't engage in certain activities. You had to literally purchase everything. Dave, so you could spend the points to have the right to engage in certain activities? Anna, yes. Field trips were like 1,000 points as far as I can remember. Dave, did anyone run out of points? Anna, well, whenever you broke your multi-day, you lose all your points. And you had to purchase getting reset too. I think it was like 700 points, maybe more, but I can't remember exactly. Dave, so if you lose all your points, then what do? I guess you have to earn them all back by having good behavior and completing your academics. It's okay if you forget something. It's better that you try to be accurate about what you remember well to the best you can. Anna, yeah, when you lose points, you can't purchase anything until you earn them back. Don't tell me, Dave, don't tell me what you think I want to hear, and tell me the good and the bad things may have done. Anna, okay, I was not on a point sheet when I first got there. I was on immediate rewards. But after a while, they put me on a point sheet. And when I told them I would like to stay on the immediate rewards, they said no. I asked why. They said because immediate rewards are for low functioning students. Wow. And every Thursday they had a field day, but only clients who were passing could go there. You have to earn points in order to purchase everything. So a point is a token in their token economy in ABA language. God. Yeah. Dave, please give an example of an immediate reward. Anna, they offered me snacks in the classroom if I passed my program op. Dave, so those without points were left behind? Anna, yes, they were left behind and didn't attend field day. For the love of God, so neurotypical students don't have to earn field trips? Just saying. What is the program op? Anna, a program op is something on your sheet that you get rewarded for if you pass it. One of my program ops was to initiate a conversation with another client. Dave said you wanted immediate rewards such as, Anna, oh, they gave me trail mix fruit bars when I passed those program apps. Papaya seeds, etc. Trail mix too. Dave, did you need a program in order to teach you to start talking with another client? Anna, well, I guess somehow they knew that I had trouble communicating sometimes. So they made that a program op for me. They saw how I was pretty aloof during my time at JRC and didn't really speak much to others. A staff would ask me to start a brief conversation with a particular student, and when I did, I was rewarded. Dave, okay, did you want to start these conversations? Anna, yeah. Dave, did you want to be aloof? Anna, I was just not happy about the whole situation. That's why I was aloof. Dave, did you feel this was necessary to learn communication skills? Anna, yeah. Dave, so you can say this part of the program helped you. Anna, yes. Another program op I had was for a staff to pinpoint unfair behavior on me, and I had to accept pinpoint. Dave, did you accept the answer willingly about no immediate rewards? Anna, yeah, because my case manager explained I had to go on a point sheet. She said I could no longer be on immediate rewards. Dave, did you accept going on the point sheet willingly without objection? Yeah, I didn't want to, though. Dave, why not? Well, because I knew I would no longer get immediate rewards and instead would have to earn points in order to participate in certain things like field day. That was 500 points. It was every Thursday. They would take only the clients that were passing and had enough points. Dave, could the students on immediate reward with no point sheet go out on field day? Anna, yes, as long as they were passing at least one multi day. But on a point sheet, you must have enough points to purchase it. Anna, well, my first residence was LaRusso, the high crisis residence. It had girls who were violent and aggressive, and the privileges earned there were very minimal. It was the most restrictive residence, a high crisis house with multiple staff with violent, aggressive clients, and the only privileges you got there was to watch a little bit of TV in your room or in the living room. The rest of the time, we really didn't do much except homework. The staff turned on the TV one day, and the staff said, she can't be watching. The bus rides to and from the LaRusso residence were chaotic and horribly noisy, and almost all the clients were restrained in some way during transportation. Some had transportation restraints on arms, ankles, helmets on their heads as well. A few had handcuffs on. Why is a helmet a form of restraint? And I guess because some of the JRC clients bang their heads. I wonder how many of those people that are considered extremely violent are so because they've been in the program too long and they're fighting back. I ponder as I ponder. Helmets can block spitting. Section deleted. The glass on the helmets was to block spitting or plastic. And yeah, I think it was plastic. Were the clients allowed to speak among themselves without staff hearing or recording? And no, it was considered a behavior. They would pinpoint moving conversation away from staff, and it broke the person's contract. Jennifer Masumba provided the internet for part of an official JRC behavior recording sheet. According to the document, she would lose all tokens for whispering moving conversation away from staff. The New York State NYS Education Department conducted a review of JRC in 2006. The report said a sample of 12 NYS students were selected for review from the 71 NYS students receiving adversive interventions that included electric skin shock, food contingent programs, and or manual mechanical restraints, level 3 behavioral interventions. The review of the NYS students' records revealed that level 3 interventions are used for behaviors including whispering and or moving conversation away from staff. Yeah. It reports an incident she observed. It sounded like staff members had provoked a client into anger. Then they restrained them with their bodies and with restraint devices. He asked the staff to calm themselves down, and he cried for help. In the end, the staff restrained him on the board. They did not shock him. Dave, did the clients talk to each other about this incident ever? Whether or not their talking would have been overheard by staff? Anna, no, nobody got involved or talked about it. We were not allowed to. Staff were always by our side listening to our conversation. So if anyone wonders why they're not talking until they're out, they're listening to everything. You really think they're going to let those kids tell their parents? Why do you think so many of them don't believe us? If we spoke about another client, it was a behavior. If we're talking about someone else, they would warn us to end the conversation, please. JRC was observing our phone conversations too. Anna, they put me on LAP, loss of privileges, my first day at the LaRusso residence. May I call you Anna? Anna, yeah. Dave, my name is Dave. I'm mostly writing about the ethics of behavior modification like the JRC's entire program of consequences. Anna, how did you learn about JRC? Dave, probably from the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. I have a delusional disorder, and I allow my psychologist to reward me with praise. If I dissent from ABA, he must leave me alone or find a better method, or else he knows I might fire him. So I'm opposed to unethical behavior modification. In other words, if the client dissents, leave them alone. Anna, oh. Dave, I have a delusional disorder. I can get paranoid, but antipsychotic medicine controls it pretty well. Anna, but you've never been away, right? Dave, I was in a psychiatric unit of Georgetown University Hospital in 1979 for 5 weeks. I admitted myself voluntarily there. I was 19. Anna, why do institutions exist? Dave, there is a long history of institutionalization going back many centuries for people with so-called mental illnesses. I don't know why they exist. People are so different from the norms they get sent away from society, so society doesn't have to deal directly with them. This is not always the case today. Anna, yes, I've been to hospitals too, before JRC. Dave, there was no other place to treat me safely. I thought people wanted to kill me when that was not true, so the medicine can make my delusions go away. Anna, I remember my grandmother warning me if I didn't behave, I was going to have to live somewhere else. I was never put on the board or in GED shock devices. I remember being restrained into the mitt jacket. I had a behavior outside of the school building. They all dragged me into the school, took me to ALC, a restraint room, and then I got restrained into the mitt jacket while a staff was sitting on me. Dave, I am an advocate. That is what I do as a volunteer. Anna, I started at JRC 11 years ago. Dave, when did you leave? Anna, 2 years later. JRC was unhappy because I left. They didn't want me to go. I one day just went on a home visit and didn't go back. And the staff from the JRC came to try and get me. My grandmother actually wanted me to stay at JRC until I was 21. Were you a JRC opponent when I was there? Dave, I'm new to anti-JRC. I don't know when the anti-JRC started. It became popular to oppose the JRC about 2 years ago when the Fox News released Andre McCollum's Shock on the Board video. Yeah, yeah, I know that was in 2002. The video was released in 2012, folks. I wasn't at JRC then. I was still home. I started at JRC in 2004. Dave, the world did not know as much about JRC until Andre's video went public. Now people are appalled. Not enough. Not nearly enough. And I talk about JRC all the time in my new program, and the staff all ask me, what is JRC? Like they've never heard about it. Dave, you could also go on TV and talk about it. Anna, they tried to take me back from my house. Wow. Were you traumatized from what they did or by what you saw? Anna, yeah, I was agitated in the situation. Dave, soldiers have PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, because of what they saw at war. Anna, I always think about JRC years after leaving, and I always wish I could have made a different decision about JRC back then. Bad memories of JRC? And yeah, I think that my life would have been different had I not went there, especially when a staff would tell me to shower properly while standing outside the bathroom at the JRC residence. My manager put on a ridiculous plan in my program at JRC that I had to earn access to preferred self-care items by showering properly. And she told my mom that she was going to do it to help me, not to hurt me. She also put failure to complete a proper self-care as a non-compliance on my sheet. She told my mom the reason why she did that was to help me learn how to properly care for myself. Wow. Dave, you did not like that? And I didn't like that at all. I brought nice soaps for my home visits to use at JRC. I was not even allowed to use them. They made it something I had to earn. The only thing I was allowed to use was a stupid JRC tone bar of soap. The rest of my self-care products were confiscated, locked away. I was not allowed to see any of them or use any of them unless I earned it. So then she told my mom one day that if I didn't learn to shower properly, they were going to move me down into the previous residence I was in. This is when I moved up to the Arbor Returns. I got out of the Lou Russo and went to Holbrook. Then finally I got into the Arbor Return residence. After I came back from a home visit, my case manager tells my mom I had two therapy notes. One, I was talking to a client on LOP, loss of privileges, while on the van, and two, she said a staff wrote on a therapy note that I don't shower properly. So the case manager told me from then on I was going to have a staff member in the bathroom with me during self-care time to make sure I was showering properly. Whoa! And that's what happened. They put failure to complete proper self-care on my sheet, and staff were watching me outside the door to make sure I showered right. Women or men? Anna, women? And in one day shouted at me, Anna, you know what happens every time you don't complete a self-care properly. You break. Yeah, she was preferring my breaking my multi-day contract. She meant failure to complete a proper self-care, and I broke my multi-day for that. They had put behavior under non-compliance on my sheet, and I told my case manager I didn't want them doing that. She said, well, what else are we supposed to do, Anna? You need to learn how to take care of yourself. We need to teach you. We're going to stop there, folks. My God. God. So here is literally the third person. Third person mentioning the weird, creepy, absolutely controlling behavior in regards to when it came time to bathe at the JRC. I want you all to think about that. This is not just about the shocks. This is complete and utter control over these human beings. Yeah, this place needs burned to the ground. And I'm going to close out on that note. We don't get very many views on this channel, The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. Folks, please don't forget to hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. Feed that algorithm. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Smelling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.